Hello buddy, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to react to another Starfield related video. It's called Starfield Could Not Be Coming at a Better Time, made by Space Tomato. Go and sub to him. I've never seen this is my first video from him. It just came up as one of my recommendation. The title says it all as far as I can say. I mean, if I would speculate, I think it's going to talk about that sci-fi games like space related has been very dry in a very long time since, like, what, Mass Effect Andromeda or No Man's Sky. I think, yeah, that would be probably around there, like 2017 2019, I think. Other than that, it's been very dry. I mean, some say what do you call it? Space Citizen or something like that. I don't remember what it was called. Elite Dangerous is really fun. I have played it a lot of times and a long time. I love that game. I love my ship. I love exploration and trading in that game. However, it's a grind. It's like extremely grindy game. You have to dedicate a lot of times. I mean, like real life weeks to just progress anywhere. And also, I'm sorry because it's been a long time and I did a reaction or something, a video, anything like that. The reason is because first and foremost, I'm finally on my vacation. I have 4 weeks vacation right now. Unfortunately, I took these weeks before I knew Starfield was going to come out early September, something like that. I would rather have my vacation then, but that's life. And also, I've been very busy with my dogs and all this sort of thing. I've also been modeling a bit with my. I ordered a new model. It's called RN Italian battleship RN Veneti. I think it was called something like. It's one of their Venetori class battleships from the Kingdom of Italy. It's a really good, fun build set. I love building models and sort of thing. It's a beautiful model and beautiful build. I'm not the best painter, obviously, but hey, I like to build. I've done that ever since I was a little cockroach. Anyway, I also got a new anime figure. I'm just going to get it. Also gonna make sure that I don't touch it because, you know, I've been painting and that sort of thing, so I need something to hold it with great care. And here she is. Sorry if you're going to hear sounds. I have the mic really close. But here she is, as I said. Kennedy Heimani. Sorry, pronunciation is not my thing. I'm also holding it because I have painted and that sort of thing. I don't want to destroy it, ruin it. I mean, the camera doesn't make this one justice. I'm gonna show much better picture or something. It's a really, really good figurines. I am really impressed by the details of the clothing, the art style. It's a very hard to see like this. Sorry, like that. I know it's gonna be a very small picture. I'm going to show much bigger pictures. I'm gonna take on the side. It's such a beautiful figurines, in my opinion. Yeah. She's going to stand next to my Baltimore for a while. I am going to dedicate her own kind of shelves, that sort of thing. But anyway, that's the newest one that came just today, actually, and I really liked it. It's a beautiful one. I gotta say it. It's a beautiful one. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. I think she's absolutely beautiful. She would be a great asset if you're an anime collector. Absolutely, she's absolutely. I mean, the detail on the clothing and as I said, I love detail. I love modeling. That's what kind of like my OCD. No, but I'm happy with it. Worth every penny. I'm still waiting for my Baltimore Finnish version or racing version, and then I have a what do you call it now? Cancelled. That was the word. Oh jeez. They cancelled several anime figures because of they're starting to become extremely expensive. Not just buying them, but also the tariff and income and that sort of thing. It's ridiculous, and also the taxes and what you call now buying transportation from, especially in Sweden. It's ridiculous, like, whoa. But yeah, I like her. She's a, if I would rate it, she's an 8. From 1 to 10, an 8. Really beautiful one. But anyway, now we're going to react to this video. I'm just gonna place her in her next to Baltimore for a while. Anyway, let's see what Space Tomato has to say about why Starfield couldn't come at a better time. As I said, I'm speculating because it's been a very lacked, what do you call it now, dry in the market for space games and space simulators. There's been some good ones, absolutely, and No Man's Sky has absolutely been a story of redemption. That's where I want to come to. Yeah, it's a story of redemption. It's a good game now, but at launch, oh my god, the internet was on fire. But yeah, let's see this. I'm gonna need to have my ear a little bit open because my dogs are downstairs and they might be yelling and that sort of thing.
Mass Effect was a great series of games. Knights of the Old Republic defined RPGs for many people. Dead Space made the gaming industry a bit more aware of how scary space is. These were all good games, and even something like No Man's Sky has done a decent job of attracting attention across PC and consoles to the genre. But let's be honest, space games and sci-fi as a whole have been leaving a lot to be desired lately, especially in the RPG area. We saw a cancelled Prey 2, a cancelled Star Wars 1313, a failed Anthem, and the list goes on. It's been rough, especially after seeing a multitude of heavyweights in the larger fantasy genre having a heyday just about every year of the last decade. It's not a bad thing. More good games is more good times for everybody, and fantasy is a pretty cool genre. But the smaller, more niche sci-fi genre, while making good progress, could use a bit of a boost. Starfield could be that boost. Hopefully. It's coming at the perfect time and could lead to a reckoning across the industry for 4 main reasons. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk.
Yeah, I agree. Where are
Before finding Star Citizen, a game I cover often, I was at a bit of a loss for what to pursue next in my thirst for more Zero-G fun. This actually didn't make much sense since there wasn't much Zero-G in Mass Effect, but let's go with that. In March of 2011,
I did replay Mass Effect Andromeda a couple of weeks ago, and I gotta say, the exploration is fun. The combat is so much fun, but the story and the character creation are the most butchered things about Mass Effect Andromeda. I hate the cats. They are so uninteresting. They are so boring and generic. And then you have the where do you go now? Kadara. I don't remember those newest space aliens. They were so boring and generic. I was like, oh, where are the Asari? Where are the Turians? Where the hell? Where are the cool things? Oh, back 2017 when it came out. Oh, I was so disappointed. And the animation, all that, still, it's a travesty what happened to Mass Effect in. God, I want to go back and play Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 again. I just want to delete everything I know about Mass Effect and just replay all of the game again. Oh.
Effect 3 came out and I played it like a madman. The conclusion of one of the best space operas in gaming was amazing to me, with a couple disappointments. But I needed more. I had always been hooked on games like KOTOR and Prey, and with 1313...
Sorry I'm pausing, but I'm just gonna mention it. KOTOR is one of those games that I have kind of like a tradition. I'm always playing at least one time every like two years or something, because it's such a good game. The story, the gameplay and all that is quite outdated, and I hate the combat and that sort of thing, strategy thinking. even though I don't have much against it, but it's so outdated. Something like the new Star Wars games, which I have not played because I'm not buying anything Star Wars and anything more because of Disney. I'm protesting against them, so...
being held on hold in Q2 of 2013 and Prey 2 being shelved in 2014, I was in need of a fix. And honestly, neither of those two games really met it anyways. But since then, we've seen a bit of a resurgence in the space game genre. While efforts were small, studios like Frontier and CIG were building space MMOs. Hard Space gave us a dedicated ship salvager, Outer Wilds was an amazing smaller title, and if you don't count Mass Effect Andromeda, Outer Worlds gave us our first major space-based RPG experience of the decade, in the last year of the decade.
The Outer Worlds. I know there's going to be the Outer Worlds 2, right? I think so, because I saw some sort of announcement a couple of years ago that's the case. But the Outer Worlds, it's also a Bethesda game. And I gotta say, I don't know exactly what to say. It's not the space game I really wanted. Here's the thing. Yes, it's good. Yes, absolutely. However, because it's just small open world zones, that sort of thing, the story is not really the best one, to be honest, and just... It's an okay game. It's like a 7 out of 10. It's a good game, but it's not the space game I'm craving for. Like Mass Effect Andromeda's exploration and combat combined with something like Elite Dangerous space sim and galactic open world, and you can land on planets, you can scan, you can discover, you can just hoard things. That's something I really hoping that Starfield is going to be.
But I basically just named every major space-based experience you'd find on a space game list, not including things like 4X and real-time strategy games. And if you look at sci-fi RPGs, you'll find Final Fantasy listed as number 1. I mean, it's got the elements, but it's a bit of a stretch to call it science fiction in my opinion. Though there are some other experiences to be had in sci-fi. Cyberpunk 2077, The Ascent, Deus Ex, Horizon Zero Dawn, Fallout, and even some Star Wars games. And while these franchises gained plenty of attention, the space games I've been mentioning never really saw a major hit, like Skyrim, The Witcher 3, Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate, Greedfall, Bloodborne, Breath of the Wild, Monster Hunter, Souls games, Sekiro, Assassin's Creed, God of War, Tears of the Kingdom. You get the point. It's been bare compared to other genres, and despite all these other space games that are doing quite well on their own, the genre is in need of a major player to bring that hype mainstream again. It certainly doesn't need to be the best game out there, but an average game that opens the doors for the average gamer to learn more about what's even possible in space games now is kind of necessity. And what's possible in these games, as we've seen from Starfield previews, is a lot more than it used to be.
That's a good title.
We've been going to space for over half a century, and it's been such a common occurrence that only a small...
Sorry, I'm just gonna mention it. I didn't witness a space race. The only time I witnessed something space related... my share is like... There. The only time I... Where was I? Oof, my brain. The only time I saw something or experienced something space related was the International Space Station and the Hubble Space Telescope and all the fantastic, mind-blowing pictures it took from the period of like the 90s to 2017 or 18 when the James Webb Telescope came up, I think, or maybe 2020, something like that. I don't know why people have just over time, especially since like the early 70s to like maybe late 2000s, has been just the space interest has just declined rapidly. I don't understand why. It's just why. Like, space is fantastic. It's interesting. Imagine the resources we can gather from just asteroids or just from our moon. Like, it would be yeah, and we're also going to have some sort of Martian missions. I think it's like 2035 or something. Like imagine the possibilities. We don't need to use Earth resources anymore. We can take resources from a barren, dead planet or moons. Like we will no longer destroy this planet. I don't understand why people think that we can live on this planet without using our the Earth resources. We are becoming more and more people. We overpopulate we are going to overpopulate this planet, and we are going to need more resources, which is just going to lead to more devastation, more expansion of cities, and destruction of environment. That's just nature for us. We need to expand. We need to leave this, not leave it permanently, but we need to leave and start explore, not just explore, but also gather new resources. We can't continue with this. I think if I would guess, 100 years from now, we're fucked if we're not going out there to gather resources. We are fucked here. Like it doesn't matter how much if we're using renewable energy, how much earth help we get from energy and that sort of thing, or it doesn't matter how much religion says we are praying. It doesn't matter. We are fucked if we're not start to expand to just Elon Musk, and you have been a little bit weird lately, but quick, we need to get the hell out of here.
Small percentage of the population still got excited for it by the 2000s. And while there were many ongoing projects, the original excitement for space exploration in the late 20th century had died down for a while.
Why?
It only took one firm shake to the industry as rocket launching technology was flipped on its head to change all that. Since SpaceX made a big name for itself in the US, we've been seeing the most launch activity since the 90s. Excitement for space exploration has never been higher. SpaceX has been running missions constantly with other companies like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin, also conducting launches alongside governments around the world. Space-based
Have you seen the what you call it? I don't remember what it was called, the Starship, something from SpaceX, when they like shoot a big ass skyscraper rocket right into the air, and it just fall in a horizontal kind of level. Then all of a sudden you just level out and just land vertically. It is fucking mind-blowing how technology has advanced with space technology, and that's right. We are so close to like going to Mars. Even though I think it's going to be a nightmare for the first humans to live on Mars.
Movies and TV shows have also exploded in recent years, with new original ideas and older IPs being made new again. And of course, the incredible feat that is the James Webb Space Telescope is now orbiting Earth's L2 Lagrange point, looking back in time and delivering some unprecedented views into space we thought was empty. But that's only half the story. There have always been pretty obvious restrictions on space games. Space is big. The things inside space also happen to be big. The attempts at building large areas to enjoy these games has proven difficult for developers in the past. Computer power has limited the creativity and scope of these projects and the ability for players to actually explore the planets in the game. But we've seen from Star Citizen to No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous to Astroneer, not only are studios able to create much more convincing worlds and biomes, but they can now be rendered and loaded in much more easily. And we've figured out how to hide that loading to some extent. We've been able to watch how this has become possible by watching Star Citizen's development cycle. And while no two games are the same, we know that Bethesda is using a similar method.
Star Citizen is it's impressive, absolutely, but it's too slow, and the development of that game has been not only slow, but it's mind-blowing. That game is just not advancing quicker because of how much money they have received. Like it's ridiculous. And also microtransactions with buying a real ship with real life money and that sort of thing. Hell no.
method of creation to generate its 1,000 planets to explore. While simply loading a map to walk around on and calling it a planet might not seem all that impressive, there is a ton that goes into the creation and organization of this kind of system. Now, like I said, it's not quite the same as Star Citizen, which goes much more in-depth, but what the player sees is kind of what matters to most people. I have a few videos going over the whole process that I can link down below for you, but comparing what we're seeing with Starfield to something like Mass Effect Andromeda, which was shooting for a similar experience.
Yeah, I remember, was it a documentary? I think it was, about the development of Mass Effect Andromeda. We're like, what? It was, like, if you imagine Elite Dangerous, it was kind of like going to be something like that. Oh, it's open, you can drive your ship and you can land wherever you want on a planet and you can just explore. And the thing is, if I remembered, it was originally going to be on the Unreal Engine because it's a superior game engine overall. But EA was like, no, you're gonna do it in Frostbite engine, and that's why. Which is, yes, it's impressive engine, but it's not that stable. It's honestly one of the most unstable game engine. Yes, it can create some beautiful scenery, but it's unstable. We have seen it in Star Wars games and Valve games, and yes, even Mass Effect Andromeda. Imagine what it would have been like if they went with the original development plan for the game.
Tells me there's no denying the progress we've seen in gaming hardware, internet capabilities, and the tools provided in these game engines that alleviate some of the development strains a game like this may have encountered before. It's still not easy. It took a company like Bethesda 8 years to figure something like this out, but between the excitement of the public and these newfound possibilities in game development, it makes perfect sense for a AAA studio to take a shot at an opportunity like this in a way that hasn't been attempted at this scale yet.
It's a shock. It's a shock that no one has done it before, except for
as I've made pretty clear throughout the video, there are quite a few interesting space-based games that already exist, but none of them really hit that single-player character-based space opera that Mass Effect nailed. Outer Worlds was great, but not the same caliber or scale. It was a good taste. And when you look at other options or even discussions found online, you'll find plenty of fans of this genre that have not had a central cause to rally behind in a while. No Man's Sky makes for great multiplayer. Elite Dangerous has truly blown the mind with its scale and exploration. Star Citizen manages to create incredibly detailed and interactive spaceships. FTL generates some amazing encounters you'd only find in space. X4 offers a less polished version of the true Space Voyager experience, and Space Engineers is exactly as the name implies. But overall, we haven't seen a game bring these aspects together in any major way quite like a big budget game might be able to for the more casual player. Starfield, from the makers of Skyrim and Morrowind, is at a level above these titles in terms of development efforts. This is a game that will entice space enthusiasts as much as RPG enthusiasts, fans of Bethesda, and your AAA gamer just looking for a new interesting take. There's a good chance for a game like Starfield to capitalize on the desires and hype that have drawn players to these games, to grab their attention and keep hold of it with Bethesda's deeper story and character development. The kicker is, the success of Starfield could be a boon for these games and the industry as a whole. That same phenomenon of players being drawn from less popular games will likely reverse itself as well. As players discover the possibilities of a game like Starfield, there's no doubt some players will look for a deeper experience that focuses more on a specific niche feature that have seen deeper growth and development in other games. While Cyberpunk 2077 didn't land completely on its feet, the game led to more focus on the genre. Games like Stray, The Ascent, Ghost Runner, Deus Ex, and Cloudpunk all likely saw increases in popularity from players looking for more cyberpunk experiences, if not only for a short time. No matter how players react to this game, there's no denying the healthy foundation that already exists in the genre to fuel Starfield and provide additional options for newcomers. What remains to be seen is if that foundation is good enough to keep players around after Starfield has faded away. I'm sure there have already been plenty of comments about how little people trust Bethesda Softworks now. Seriously, somebody tally them up down below. But hear me out. I'm not a lifelong Bethesda fan. I've played a few of the games, but I've only bought one copy of Skyrim. I skipped Fallout 76, and I'm actually not a huge fan of either of their two main franchises. That being said, I'm not inclined to write them off after a couple major bad launches.
I used to be a Bethesda fanboy. I love Oblivion, and I love Skyrim, I love Fallout 4. Fallout 76 was one of those games that I didn't buy, I didn't pre-order. Even though I'm a Bethesda fanboy sort of way, it was because I had a little bit of... it was because of Elder Scrolls Online. Yes, today it's a really good game, but at launch it was just lackluster. But it's a fun MMO, absolutely. But Fallout 76, there was something in my stomach. It was just... something doesn't seem completely right here. Like, I don't know. I'm going to wait. And good for me. And then you have like Bethesda's little bit of greediness with the whole paid mods and that sort of thing, and what else? Yeah, microtransactions with Fallout 76. It was just, what the hell is going on with Bethesda right now? Don't they have enough money now when they were bought up by Microsoft? How much was it? Like a ridiculous amount of money. And Starfield, as he kind of like good, as he explains really good. I'm a space fan. I love space. I love sci-fi. Because it's been so dry on the market for a space role-playing open worlds games. It's just... I know I'm not alone with it. I know a lot of my friends who are also RPG open world sci-fi fans, they are just... Even though we have played a lot of No Man's Skies and that sort of thing, and Stellaris, and a little bit of Star Citizen, we want... there's something missing, and Starfield looks like it's going to be that game that just going to give us that, what do you call it, like give us that power back in sort of way. And I feel like this might be one of the biggest try compared to many others, but we just have to see. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to it. But Bethesda has a little bit of, I should say it, questionable records in the last few years. Absolutely. And also not only because of their greediness, but also because of they are releasing really unstable and broken as game for a ridiculous amount of money or price for a video game. That's what also I have a problem with Starfield. I haven't pre-ordered, and I don't plan to pre-order it because the money they are requesting for this game, for pre-order this game, like 1,000 Swedish crowns. Like hell no. I mean, I rather buy anime figures than a game for 1,000 Swedish crowns. Are you kidding me? At least my anime figures are rising in value over the years.
Launches. And that goes without saying, the messaging around this game is pointing more towards the older and more celebrated games of Bethesda. The games that focus more on the RPG aspects and the customizations of characters, like Morrowind. It is a new IP with a pretty hefty amount of work and effort put into setting a foundation for more games in the future. We've also seen talk from Todd Howard of a newly updated engine used for both Starfield and the next Elder Scrolls, but there's no knowing how big a difference it might actually be. Given other statements like the intense focus on bug fixing and QA work for this game, and the obvious lack of many other major titles from Bethesda landing very well in recent years, even on the publishing side, this game is looking more and more important for Bethesda every month.
Oh yeah.
And finally, it's clear that Microsoft is putting a lot of focus on this title as well. The game may have been part of the main immediate benefits of acquisition, but it also gives Microsoft an easy step into the next genre of game series without developing an entirely new IP. Much like in 2006 with the original Mass Effect, Microsoft may have managed to lock in one of the biggest.
Ah, damn, 2006. Yeah, oh my god, it's almost 20 years ago.
Sci-fi series of the decade. Whether that is true or not is yet to be seen. But go back to E3 of 2021 when Microsoft and Bethesda made their debut side by side. Look at which game opens the show. Look at which game ends the show. Look at what games it is sharing those spotlights with, and look at how cleanly Starfield fits into the catalog of games going forward. In 2022, Starfield was presented as the one more thing focus of the show. And in 2023, it had an entire additional hour dedicated after the Microsoft Games Showcase. Say what you will about Bethesda, Xbox Game Studio seems to have settled on a golden child for the foreseeable future.
Hopefully.
Though we will see what comes of Fable eventually. Now, I'm not saying all is good and things are going to be great with the launch of Starfield. No more of that. This same exact scenario was possible with 2077 and its own genre, as we touched on. And while that game made a difference, with the better game, I think we'd have a bit of a different conversation in 2023.
I am looking
with just
forward
the first
to the
major DLC.
Sorry, I am looking forward to the DLC for Cyberpunk. I really hope it's going to be a great story and also implement more characters and more gameplay and content. Like I'm hopeful for it.
See around the corner. No, this video isn't meant to be hype. It was heavy on hype. Sorry about that, but it's not a hype piece. It's just my summary of the reasons I think Starfield could be a big time game, and why I believe the stage is pretty set for it to actually have a tangible impact on the gaming industry at large. AAA launches, especially with Bethesda, have not bolstered my confidence enough to be convinced this game will live up to the moment. So I'm cautious, optimistic, and interested in what might happen here. I also wouldn't mind an above-average space-based RPG, so there's that. This could be Elder Scrolls Skyrim in space, or it could just be another passing entertaining game that grips players for a year before the next big thing. I'll be following the game here and on my second channel, where I've already hosted a couple podcast episodes on it. So if you're interested in more and want to keep up with the game, check back later or consider subscribing here. I hope you learned something new in this video, and I'll catch you in.
Yeah, go and sub to this guy. This was a really good video, really good informational, and overall it was a really good video. Oh my god, how much time is it? Oh, I should remove this. I think it's 8 or 7 weeks from now. Starfield is going to be released. I think so. Yeah. I have 4 weeks of vacation now, so damn, why didn't I choose September? Yeah, it was a good video. Go and sub to Space Tomato. It was a really informational video, and I'm gonna look up that podcast as well, because it seems like a good thing when I'm listen to when I'm doing my modeling and that sort of thing. So yeah, it was a good video, absolutely. My god, just 8 more weeks till we can play the game. Man, I'm so looking forward to it. Yes, I know I should be lowering my hype, absolutely, because oh my god, how many times haven't I been burned by a hype video game? Like Cyberpunk was one of the worst burn I ever have. Even though I didn't suffer so much from bugs and glitches compared to many others. I played it on PC, but I did have bugs and T-poses and that sort of thing. But it's a good game now. It's been very cleaned up. There's very few bugs still around. But as I said, I played Mass Effect Andromeda recently, and it was just the story still sucks, and the villains just sucks, and but the combat and exploration is so fun. Anyway, thank you if you're watching this video or if you came all this way. Just 8 to 7 more weeks. I know. Lower my hype. I will try. Anyway, see you all later.